de confirmación por muchos laboratorios metabólicos. Y en concreto, el doctor James Pitt en Melbourne lleva años haciéndolo y nosotros aprendimos de ellos la tecnología que implantamos. Ellos publicaron en Clinical Chemistry en el año 2001 este trabajo, y a raíz de eso nosotros visitamos al doctor Pitt en Melbourne y lo que yo os he presentado anteriormente de nuestra experiencia nace de lo que él desarrolló previamente. Entonces yo lo que no sabía o no había focalizado mi atención es en la posibilidad del diagnóstico del Smith-Leniophy o de la CTX a través de estas muestras de orina y del trabajo que estábamos realizando todos los días. Pero curiosamente, él en el Congreso de Innsbruck de la Sociedad Europea de Estudios Metabólicos, la CCN, de septiembre del 2014, presentó sus resultados del 2008 al 2014 y él nos mostró allí que entre otro grupo de enfermedades había conseguido diagnosticar, allí dijo 3 casos, sin embargo después publicó que 4 casos de CTX sobre un trabajo continuado de creo recordar que 23.000 muestras que él analizó en este periodo, 2008-2014. Yendo hacia atrás, yo vi que el ensayo que él proponía era abordable y lo que hicimos fue introducir en nuestra sistemática del laboratorio el estudio de los 2 metabolitos que él propone para el estudio de estas 2 enfermedades. Ese ensayo nosotros lo tenemos introducido, y en nuestro caso nosotros utilizamos de patrón interno también la xanoilglicina, pero en nuestro caso tiene un marcaje diferente. Esto es lo que nosotros ya estamos haciendo rutinariamente como prueba de segundo nivel en nuestro laboratorio. Entonces, ¿hasta ahora qué hemos hecho? Pues lo que hemos hecho es, desde que lo introdujimos, es analizar una serie de muestras y ver qué pasaba con estos 2 metabolitos. Entonces, lo que nos hemos encontrado hasta ahora es que el metabolito, el CPG, el glucurónido, que se utiliza para la CTX, en los niños normales, en general, es indetectable. Nosotros no tenemos ninguna orina de un recién nacido de CTX para analizar. Y hemos intentado entonces buscar una orina de un recién nacido de Smith-Leniophy, a ver si, y lo único que hemos conseguido es una orina que llevaba 15 años en el laboratorio y cuyo resultado también es negativo. Pero el siguiente paso, para poder verificar esto, nosotros no sabemos si es que en la etapa neonatal estos metabolitos no aparecen suficientemente en una concentración lo suficientemente elevada como para ser utilizable ya en ese momento, o en el caso de la SLO, si esa muestra en los 15 años que llevaba almacenada en el laboratorio se ha degradado. Pero ese es el camino y es alentador los resultados que él ha presentado, que trabajando con muestras frescas, trabajando día a día con esta dinámica, él ha conseguido diagnosticar 4 casos. Nuestro planteamiento a día de hoy, entonces, ¿cuál es para el abordaje de la CTX en un cribado? Pues la primera cuestión es que tendríamos que poner encima de la mesa no el cribado neonatal, sino el cribado selectivo y después el cribado neonatal. Tendríamos, con el conocimiento y la experiencia que tenemos a día de hoy, el dilema de si es más útil trabajar con sangre o con orina o con las 2. Razonablemente deberíamos ir a un estudio multicéntrico, deberíamos no trabajar solo con las muestras nuestras, deberíamos trabajar pues probablemente en un cribado selectivo multicéntrico. Si tenemos que tener previsto, porque después de forma retrospectiva es muy difícil de resolver, el tema del consentimiento informado. Muy frecuentemente nosotros tenemos un banco de muestras muy grande y muy frecuentemente se dirigen a nosotros médicos de distintas especialidades porque ven muy útil, pero nosotros no podemos suministrar esas muestras sin el visto bueno de un comité ético. Entonces, de forma individual, tú puedes retrospectivamente conseguir el consentimiento de la familia para que la muestra de la etapa neonatal de su niño sea utilizada en el diagnóstico concreto dentro de un cribado selectivo, pero no en un cribado poblacional. No es viable reclamar de forma a posteriori el consentimiento informado de toda la población de la que disponemos muestras. Y eso dificulta el que el comité ético le dé el visto bueno al estudio. O defendemos muy bien la relación causa-efecto, el beneficio que vamos a obtener, o si no, difícilmente nos hemos encontrado ya con esa situación en enfermedades de depósitos lisosomal, si no, difícilmente el comité ético autorizará que utilicemos esas muestras. Definir grupos de riesgo, ya he comentado, posibles grupos de riesgo. Para un estudio piloto, al no conocer la prevalencia, pues habría que definir el N, y aunque sea un poco atrevido por mi parte, yo creo que aquí sí debo hablar de dinero, o sea, por lo menos de forma orientativa, o sea, porque vosotros, la gente de la asociación, debe saber contra qué está luchando, debe saber si para que un laboratorio como el nuestro haga un cribado selectivo se necesita 100 o 1000, y entonces yo, como tenemos digamos, convenios del mismo tipo con otros grupos de enfermedades, he estimado que para que nuestro laboratorio pudiera abordar un cribado selectivo se necesitarían aproximadamente 15.000 euros. Yo, aunque he puesto una cifra ahí para un estudio piloto, a mí personalmente me parece que es pronto. Me parece que debemos pasar antes por completar el estudio, implantar de forma fiable la metodología en el laboratorio, hacer un estudio selectivo del tipo que se decida, y sobre esa base y con ese conocimiento, entonces ya se puede hablar de un estudio piloto. Bueno, esto ahora es un resumen de lo que es nuestra actividad, es una unidad bien asentada, tenemos resultados al combinar con orina muy buenos. Nosotros publicamos en Molecular Genetics and Metabolism en el año 2011 el balance de 10 años de cribado neonatal de esta manera, que tenemos un valor predictivo positivo muy alto al combinarlo con la orina. Estas son las enfermedades que nosotros diagnosticamos. Son más de 400 pacientes de muy diversas patologías en los que están en la unidad nuestra a seguimiento, que es unidad de referencia a nivel nacional, es lo que se denomina en el argot profesional una CESUR, es un centro de referencia a nivel nacional para enfermedades metabólicas congénitas. Y finalmente decir qué podemos aportar nosotros a los pacientes adultos. Pues a los pacientes adultos podemos facilitarles el seguimiento analítico. O sea, si un grupo de médicos que estoy estudiando esta enfermedad decide que sería bueno medirle el colestanol a todos los pacientes pues cada 3 meses, es muy útil que un laboratorio como el nuestro tenga implantada una metodología que permita medir el colestanol en sangre impregnada en papel. Porque facilita mucho el realizar eso. Y ese tipo de trabajo es el que ya estamos realizando con otros grupos de pacientes. Así hacemos el seguimiento de la fenilcetonuria, así hacemos el seguimiento del jarabe de arce, así hacemos el seguimiento de la homocistinuria, así hacemos el seguimiento de la tirosinemia. Por supuesto, estaríamos en disposición de favorecer el completar los estudios genéticos y bioquímicos familiares y llegado el caso, tendríamos disponibilidad de hacer estudios prenatales o hacer estudios de diagnóstico materno y poner en marcha pruebas de tercer nivel. Esto, de forma global, es lo que nosotros ofertamos a los pacientes adultos que son seguidos en nuestra unidad en colaboración con el Servicio de Medicina Interna de nuestro hospital, que también está integrado en la unidad. Bueno, finalmente, decir solamente que hacemos también paneles génicos, en concreto tenemos un panel donde se estudia el gen vinculado a la xantomatosis, dentro de un panel que incluye muchos genes, todos los que hay descritos en la actualidad para enfermedades de depósito. Esta es la foto de nuestro equipo y nuestras muestras, siempre el talón de los niños, que es donde empieza todo.
So thank you very much. It was very interesting, this problem of natal, and it was also the same succession of discussion that has been during this year on the international literature like this session, because the letter of Pitts on Journal Inherited Metabolic Disease was related to our article on algorithm. So they confronted the prenatal and eventual neonatal diagnosis with the clinical algorithm to have an early diagnosis, and this is very important. So we go to the last presentation of this morning, that is from Dr. Matisik from Munich, Germany, monitoring 7-alpha-hydroxy-4-CHOLESTEN-3 on 1 in the apheresis therapies of CTX. Please.
Invitation and the possibilities to speak here. Originally I'm from Regensburg, and now we would like to go deeper into analytical methods and especially consideration of an apheresis therapy and the case report in our hospital. I think I can skip the first slides about the bile acid synthesis pathway and also about the cholesterol catabolism, because we have got a talk in the afternoon session of Professor Pürkem about the CDX pathomechanism. Let's start with this case report. I would like to show some results of the diagnosis and the therapy of a 34-year-old patient. He's male and he came to us in 2010, but the CTX diagnosis was first suspected, I think, in 2007. I can't give you exactly who did. The general was that he had spasticity in the legs and all what we heard before, and bilateral cataracts. He had undertaken the surgery in 1997, and everything what is related for CTX was here and present. The clinical parameters, at first, normal levels of cholesterol and triglycerides is clear, but elevated cholesterol and reduced levels of bile acids. And then the gene sequence analysis showed that is a combined heterozygote gene defect on the CYP27A1 So let's do a short excursus to the bile acids. This is a schematic scheme of bile acid structure. We see the steroid backbone and the side chain, and I would like to point out that it's shaped like a convex side and a concave side, and this is more or less because of the constitution of the positions of the substituents, that means of the hydroxyl substituents, and we see that there is a difference in the hydrophilicity and hydrophobicity depending on these OH groups, and we see the most hydrophobic and therefore most cytotoxic is the litocholic acid, and also the CDCA, and the best is of course UDCA, which is administered in cholestatic diseases. This is our bile acid profiling analytical method to analyze a lot of bile acid species. I don't want to go in deep because as precipitation it's clear, and I would like to point out only this is a quite short method, 6.5 minutes in negative mode for all the analysts under the auditory. And these are the profile and speciality. That means we measure all the primary and the secondary bile acids and the conjugated species, that means this glycine and the taurine conjugated bile acid species. Originally it was created for the pediatric doctors in our hospital because they come with this bile acid profile much earlier to a diagnosis of cholestatic diseases. We have not only this bile acid analysis in our hospital in Regensburg, also analysis for the oxidative products of cholesterol, that means the so-called oxysterols. We heard about this 27-hydroxycholesterol together, 24-hydroxycholesterol, and also with 7-ketocholesterol. And in the same method we can quantify cholesterol precursors, that means intermediates in the cholesterol biosynthesis pathways, for example desmosterols, and we heard some minutes ago about the 70-hydrocholesterol. And also in this method is included the plant sterol analysis with beta-cetosterol, cambasterol, and so on. That means with all these intermediates or biomarkers, we have got access to a more or less a fingerprinting of the cellular sterol metabolism. And as Dr. Roche pointed out, that it's from the economical point of view, for us analysts, we can't create a method only for one rare disease. That means the best is to cover a lot of diseases in one or two methods in one lab. That we do with one shot, you can have an approach to diagnose more than one disease. And we applied tandem mass spectrometry, as we heard about ago. We use GCM method, means gas chromatography, and also LCMS, liquid chromatography, and with tandem MS, so-called MS. But I don't know if in the future these high resolution mass spectrometry instruments are becoming more and more important. We had some results with a time of flight mass spectrometer and also with the so-called ALPHA-HYDROXY, and here with this instrumentation we have got a sophisticated method to cover almost all analytes in one shot, and it's possible to analyze also retrospective analytes of charged target analytes. Well, if we have such a fingerprinting together with bile acids and also with steroid hormones, we can monitor at first some therapies about lipid lowering, and for other diseases I mentioned cytosterolemia, or you heard about Smith-Lemley opiates with 70-hydrocholesterol, Niemann-Pick about the 7-keto, or the CTX with the 27-hydroxycholesterol. Now let's go to our patient. What we do with him is a so-called apheresis. That means a lipid clearing of the plasma, of the metabolite which is accumulating. And we use this approach proposed by the Fresenius company. It's called membrane filtration optimized novel extracorporeal treatment. It's so-called a Monet cartridge. What it's from? It's a membrane from polysulfone, and this has got a quite high permeability for molecules smaller than 100 kilodalton, and a poor permeability for molecules larger than 1000 kilodalton. That means it separates proteins and lipoproteins from small proteins. So, and this is a schematic view how it works. At first the blood is separated during this filtration, in the first step, into plasma and blood cells with a so-called plasma filter. And the plasma containing the LDL lipoproteins passes now a secondary filter In our case, it's this Monet cartridge, and the lipoproteins retain here. And also not only the LDL lipoproteins, also this LPA, for example. And the purified plasma is then combined again with the blood cells and returned to the patient. I have also a video in illustrating this process. Yeah, it works. The blood comes at first to separate blood cells and the plasma, and the plasma is entering. Yeah, this is the separation from the blood cells. So, and the plasma is entering then this LDL cartridge, this Monet cartridge, this lipoprotein filter, and LDL particles are retained, and small molecules go through, and in the end both is combined and given back to the patient. He adapts this very well. We do it once weekly. This sounds quite rapidly. And this is a machine, quite large device. We have two of these devices, and you see in yellow this is this Monet cartridge. It takes him 1.5 hours, not longer. And what we do is we monitored at first only the LDL and the cholesterol before and after this apheresis, and we see it is effective as we suggested and we expected. That means the level of LDL is reduced after this apheresis therapy. And now we would also like to measure these CTX metabolites, for example this 7-alpha-C4, this 7-alpha-hydroxy-cholestenol. We do it also by LC-MS. We have a 4000 API Q-trap, and yeah, for the analysis, acetylnitrile sulfate precipitation, we have an internal standard of course, and we do it in positive ESI mode. The analysis time is 5.5 minutes. That means quite short. Linearity is quite good, and also interday precision, and you see the difference between the control and the CTX patient, and we see the same, that this is also in the therapy 10-fold higher than in normal patients. And what we see here is an up and down before and after apheresis, at first monitored over 6 months, and we have this done further for nearly 2 years. Now we stopped the analysis of this metabolite because medical doctors do not see any effort for their weekly apheresis, so they do it every week, and the patient can adapt quite well. This is a procedure. So what we see here is this up and down of this C7-alpha-C4, and we see some peaks maybe related to some events in life. The first peak is, for example, at Christmas. The second peak is his birthday. Maybe this is related to changes in diet or lifestyle. Let's do a little excursus to what the bile acids and also this bile acid synthesis marker do in general in the healthy people. We know that bile acids are signaling molecules, and they signal not only their own synthesis, they are also responsible for energy expenditure, for example, and also for the thyroid gland, and therefore this example, this disturbed bile acid profile in the CTX patient, and this disturbances in thyroidic function comes a little bit clearer. So what we do? We had a look to the bile acids postprandially, for example, in an oral glucose tolerance test, and we see that the the conjugated bile acids go up, as it is clear and as we expect, and the unconjugated free bile acids are reduced because of this negative feedback. This negative feedback of the bile acids means that they inhibit their own synthesis and increase a better conjugation to reduce the cytotoxic level of this unconjugated bile acids. And we should keep in mind that in the CDX patient this is not working. And we see also that this 7-alpha-C4 bile acid synthesis markers goes down after the intake of food. And everything does not work in the signaling in the CDX patient. So, what was the beneficial effect over more or less now 5 years of treatment for our patient? There was a significant improvement of ataxia. He had less gait disturbances, and this the onset was after the 4th apheresis treatment. This was quite early, and our medical doctors were quite surprised about these early improvements. He couldn't speak, he couldn't work alone, he had no fine motor skills, and he improved a lot. Now he speaks fluently, also his cognitive performance is much better. He can remember all the soccer results from the last soccer. What was it last year? Yeah, you know. And his motoric, psychomotoric performances become better from year to year, and in general we can say there is more or less of normalization in his everyday life. He lives with his parents, helps in the farm, and in general, parents are very grateful to this therapy, and in his case, it helps actually, it improves this disease very much. I kept short because of the time. These are the people who were involved at first. Professor Schmitz, he was a former leader of our department, now he's retired, and the medical doctors, of course, and also my analytical colleagues. We got a lot of money from the European Union for the lipidomic project, and also from the Niemann-Pick Selbsthilfegruppe. They supported us not only in the Niemann-Pick disease, also in the CTX disease, and this is the MASPEC group. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So, I think that we can have a discussion of the different paper presented. I ask people to come here, and the 3 papers are open for discussion. There are some questions from the floor. Yes, Professor Björk.
A general question about the value of measuring cholesterol as a diagnostic marker. Cholesterol has been used as some type of gold standard in connection with this diagnosis, but according to our experience, there are sometimes difficulties in measuring cholesterol because you have an excess of cholesterol by 1,000-fold, and the retention times in the chromatography is not very different. And sorry. There are sometimes problems in accurately measuring cholesterol because of the fact that the levels are only 1/2000 in relation to cholesterol, and the retention times are very close. And in addition, you have some disorders, for example liver disorders, where you have increased levels of cholesterol, And sometimes in patients with CTX, the levels are only elevated, perhaps 3 or something like that, and then it's rather difficult. In contrast, if you measure 27 hydroxycholesterol, you have an absolute certain marker for CTX. And